Hi friends, I am Shravana and welcome back to my channel Sparkling Future. Today we will see a few more Hive operations using the Spark with Scala. Before starting with today's topic, I request all of you to subscribe to my channel and also please like, share, comment and hit the bell icon for the latest video notifications. Thank you. So today I will explain this code, friends. In the interest of time I have already written the code, so I will take you through each and every line to make you understand what all operations we can perform in Hive using the Spark code by using the Scala. Okay, so friends, this is the Scala object I have created. Hope you are all well versed with creating the the packages and all that. So inside the project you will have a source, inside that you will have a package, and when you right click on the package and here you can create the Scala object. And once you have created the Scala object, you need to have the main method so that you can run the code using this run as Scala application option. And I have so this one is if you don't give this set this property, because this is by local machine, if you don't set this property you will have some bin utils.exe file exception, and also it will not allow you to write the operations to your local machine from Spark. Okay, for that I have set up this property. I have explained this in a detailed video also, you can watch my previous videos. And I have created a Spark variable for the Spark session variable, Spark session builder app name, so that easier for you. Okay, inside the builder you should have the app name, and then you have to specify the master local because this is local machine, otherwise you can just pass it when you are doing the Spark submit command. And this one, enable Hive support is there, right? This is very important when you are working with Hive from Spark. Okay, with this I have created the Spark variable. So now let's see how to create a internal table. In the previous video, friends, when I have sent the location along with the file, along with the table creation script, what happened was, because that script whatever I sent right in the, so this is the this is the code I had used in the previous videos. One of our friends also asked the questions like, when I say spark.sql and create table, this command, it has created one external table by default. That is because the location that you are passing here is a external location. Okay, it is present in my local machine but it's not local to Hive. Because of that reason it has created the external table. So now we will see how to create an internal table and also how to load the data into that. So friends, when working in production environment, you need to send this database name, table name in the form of the variables. Like, you cannot hard code the table name and also, just to show you I have created like this. Okay, you can hard code also, both are same. So now I have taken one database name as default, and table name I am creating some table name. And first one is just to show you how to use the database name. Spark, here we have created the Spark variable, right? So that Spark session dot SQL use is a string, and then DB name. When you query, when you trigger this, it will execute the command use database name. Okay, but when you are working in the main code, no need to do the use DB and all. You can directly fetch the data, or you can directly query for the Hive tables. Okay, and so here if you see here, these are the settings for working on the partitioning. So, and I have a SQL string. I am creating a variable called SQL string, saying that create table if not exists, and I am passing this DB name which is the default dot and this table name. If you see here, this is the variable name, so that's why it is out of this double quotes. This is a constant string, so this one is inside the double quotes. Then plus is a concatenated symbol which will append the DB name to this string, and then again we need a dot after the database name, right? So because of that reason, the dot is kept inside the quotes, and then again we have the table name in this variable, in this variable. So because of that reason this is a variable, so that is not inside the double quotes. And here I am passing, when this is the formatted for creating a Hive table, first you need to send the schema of the data file that you are using to create the data, what is that, Hive table. So I have, this is the file I am trying to use in the Hive table creation. So I have emp id, ename, designation and department. 4 columns are present in this sample file. So now again employee id, employee name and designation, and whatever should be the partition that should not be there in this initial schema. Okay, because of that reason I have not mentioned this department here, and I am using partitioned by keyword, and I am saying that partition by department. So this is the SQL string. In this variable I am just first making a SQL string, and then I am passing that to this spark.sql. Okay, this is how we should use in the code, original code, not in the testing. Okay, not during the testing. And when you are building for a real-time project, then you have to use this way. So what will happen is, when you say spark.sql and when you pass this one, it will execute this SQL string will be executed in the cluster, then it will build up on runtime by fetching the required details. So here we have used the partitioned by, right? So for that by default it will not be the partitioning will be false in the cluster. So you have to modify, you have to have these settings just before calling this when you are creating a table by using the partition by columns. If you are not mentioning the partition, then these settings are not required. Okay, and also if in your production environment or in your real-time environment, if you have already set up the things, then no need to send it programmatically. And also all these things, right, you will not hard code this way. Okay, it will be either through Spark submit command, or it will be either through some other parameter file or configuration properties file you will send this way, and you will read that. Okay, you don't hard code this way. Just try to understand what I am saying, that is you always make sure that you don't hard code the things in the real time code. Okay, so now we have to set hive.exec dynamic partition to true here, then only it will allow you to create the partition table. And also we have to set the dynamic partition mode to non-strict. And also if you wanted to use the bucketing, then even for that you have to set up that bucketing related properties, like hive.enforce bucketing to true, and the second one is hive.enforce sorting to true. These two things you have to set up for using the, for enabling the partitions and bucketing while creating a table. Okay, then again if you wanted to say explicitly mention how many partitions you wanted to create, this is just for a sample I have given, but as per your requirement you can send that as well along with this Spark SQL. In this you can set the conf as well, and here I am using the Spark session, so I am directly sending like this. You can also do like spark.sql context.setconf, using this setconf also can be used. Okay, this way you can mention spark.sql context.setconf and you can send this, or you can use directly, you can execute it directly using this spark.sql. So when you send it through spark.sql, it will execute this in the PySpark shell, and when you do this one, this is also does the same, but just that it will update the configuration. This setconf is another method in this SQL context class, so that will be called along with these parameters. Okay, that is the difference. So now with all these things we are ready to create a partition Hive table, and when you add this here, this spark.sql is going to trigger this create table if not exists default.csv test table 5 with this schema and partitioned by department string, and this is the sample file which has these 4 columns. These 3 columns I am sending as a normal schema, and this is for the partition by. We can also use bucketing also, but for using the bucketing you have to have these two settings, hive.enforce bucketing to true, hive enforce sorting to true. These two settings also you have to do when you wanted to do the bucketing. And once you do the similar way, you can add this bucketing by step also here for doing this bucketing. Okay, then spark.sql string that we have done. Then what, now we have the table, and you can see right here we don't have a location, we just created the table by triggering this, but we have not sent any data to that. So in the previous video we have seen how to send a location. So here create table if not exists, and I am hard coding here, see this way. So that's why here I have shown in the how to send the variables. Okay, and I have passed this schema and row format delimited, fields terminated by this one. This is the syntax. Okay, this is how we have to create the hive table, and here I am sending the location, and here I have not I have not sent any location, right? So for that, next one we can, the similar way you can just trigger insert into, or some you can use that. Okay, load, you can use the load method here itself, or you can use the insert into method. Okay, that is also another way that if you know Hive, those are all default statements like how to load a table. But from Spark, how will you do that? Using a data frame, also one of the ways. So now this employee emp underscore hive.csv is there, right? I am reading that file as a data frame because this is a CSV file which is a comma separated comma delimited file. I am using the .csv format, and this I am reading that as a CSV, and I have created a data frame. Now this data frame I am saying that df.write.mode, save mode as append. That is because if you don't mention the mode, second time when you query this, when you try to insert into the same table, it will give you error saying that this is already exists. So for that you have to add the mode. You can save mode as overwrite, append, something, and you can mention in the mode of save mode comma append. And when you want to use this save mode, you should import this statement, import arg apache spark sql dot save mode. Once you add that import statement only, otherwise it will give the error here at this point. Okay, you can see here saying that not found the value save mode. For that reason you have to import this arg apache spark sql save mode library. So once you have that add that mode, then you have to have this insert into database name dot table name. This is one way. Another way is you can directly say format as Hive. Usually in any of the tables that we have seen okay in any other videos, right, like writing any Avro format or writing CSV file format, any of that you can see like df.write.format. You might have seen this already. So here you can pass it as Hive format. You can think all small, you can just try that out. Okay, you can try this also, and then save as table, you can try that option also, and all other that is one way. Or you can directly do insert into this table name also. Okay, you can try anything. Then once you write this employee hive.csv file, when you create that as a table, when you load that as a table, then we will query the table and see whether the table is loaded with the CSV file data or not. So for that again I am assigning that entire string to a select string. Here I am saying select star from db name dot table name, and I am passing that select string to spark.sql, and I am saying that get the latest 10 records. This is the action. So once you have the action only, the data frames will be triggered. For that reason I am giving that show here. So the transformation, which is this one, will be triggered. So what we have done here, we have created a table, we have added the data, inserted into the table, and then we are querying the Hive table. And then yeah, one more thing is here, what this particular command does is, for any table, right, from Hive any Hive table will be built on top and based on a file. So now if there is a situation, or if there is any requirement where you need to get the underlying Hive table, it cannot be always data warehousing, right? I mean data warehouse, that warehouse path, it can be anywhere. If it is external, it will be somewhere. If you wanted to get the underlying path of the Hive table, then you can use this command. So inside the Spark SQL, do describe formatted. Usually if you do describe formatted, it will show all the, like, what is the table name, or what are the columns available, whether it's external table or managed table, what is the partition columns, each and everything it will provide, like all the details will be provided when you trigger this describe formatted of the table name. So just before this, I'll just do this also, that describe formatted, I'm simply giving that, okay, so that we will see the what exactly the details will be shown when you do describe formatted on a table name. And then so here we are getting the same thing, and this filter command you will understand very clearly after you see this one, okay. So this formatted, it will have 3 columns, column name, data type, and something else, we will see that, okay. So that's why I'm filtering it here, saying that column name, get the column name as location. Location is the place where it will show the underlying file name of the table, like on what is the base file on which this Hive table is built upon, because when you create a table, you should be sending some file, right? Create a table out of this file, that HDFS location, it will store that in the location column name. So we are saying that here lot of details will be there, but filter only where the column name is location, and because this is in the table name, we have to have that in a that will be in the columns, like 3 columns. When I say in a data frame, how 3 columns are there, it will be there. That's why I am saying that make string with the comma. This you will clearly understand after executing this code, okay. I'll explain you once again, don't worry. If you have some questions about how can we do this this part of the command, okay. So now why I am doing that collect is to trigger this operation, because Spark is lazily operated these things. So once you do this only, it will load the details. That's why after loading only we can do this make string, and after the make string also you have to get the first one, first in, we just need that particular data. That's why I am splitting again this with the comma, then it will become a list, and in this list you get only the first one, okay. This I will explain you. So now I am finally printing the path. Now let me run this code, friends, then you will clearly understand this last line code, and the rest all is very easy. Once if you have worked with the Hive before, it is very easy to understand, right? Like it's just a create and a select table commands and all that stuff. So in between these logs you can see it is calling the Hive meta store and all that. So if you, whenever you get some time, right, you just analyze these things, friends, it will be very useful to you. Okay, so here this is the only thing that we are doing the select star from, right? So it has printed it, how many, 1 2 3 4 5 records are there. So it is printing that one, and if you see I haven't mentioned the CSV header equal to true here while reading the employee, right? It should be there, right? Option header equal to true, because of that reason it is considering header also as a value, okay. Then because this is from table, it is coming like that, but when if I would have printed this df here, for sure it would have mentioned like underscore C0 underscore C1, because this is select star from the table, and while in the creation of the script we have sent the schema here, okay, it has printed along with the header. Now this is about the select star from the table, which means that we have created a table and we have inserted using the df.write method. Next one is we are printing the describe formatted of the table. If you need more details, you can use describe extended also, but I need only a few details, so I am using describe formatted. And here if you see, it has 3 columns: column name, data type, and the comment. So in this column name, under location, you can see, right, this is the file that we have, which is under data type. Because of that reason only, because of this reason, first what I have done is, it has 3 columns, 1 2 3. When I say filter it by location, which is a column name equal to location, it will again have this entire thing, correct? That's why instead of these 3 columns, I said first make string as comma. So guys, actually what you can do is, you can print one by one and see what exactly is happening. I have made it as a chain operation. You can try by printing each and everything in that code, so that you can clearly understand. So first I am making string with a comma, and then I am saying that after that split. Then what it will happen is, here, right, now this is what we have. So when I say make string, it will become like this. Okay, this is what it will become when I say make string. And again I am splitting it. So splitting will make you the list. So what it will become is like this: location comma, and this file as the second list, like this it will become. Now after the split, I am checking that this is the 0th one, this is the first one. So I am telling that get the first one, which is this. Got it? So that's how, when I at the end, when I say print path, it is printing this path. When you execute the same code in cluster, it will give you HDFS path. The same code you can use. Got it, friends? So this is how we can get the underlying file name of a Hive table. So if you wanted to perform joins and all that, and if directly using Hive, then again sometimes what will happen is, there may be some performance differences when you are working directly in Hive and when you are using running it through Spark, right? So in such cases, instead of directly querying using the joins in Hive table using the Spark SQL inside that Hive, you just get the underlying paths and then perform the join. I have seen some improvement in the performance when you do so. Okay, this is again my personal opinion, because I have seen in that way. If you feel comfortable in writing the Hive table joins, that you do, that is as per your requirements. Okay, so these are the other operations that we can do on the Hive table, friends. Hope this is useful to you. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more interesting learnings. Thank you.